Earth. Such a complex planet, so delicate that one little mistake can ruin it. Essentially, its life is in our hands, humans. Now, much of this planet is presumably contaminated. Pollution has taken control over our world. Experts say this is not a good sign for us and for years to come. But is it really that bad? How much trust can we really put on these so-called environmentalists? We can even correctly speculate that the morality of pollution, as well as global warming being a horrible impact to this world, is possibly to have been just a big hoax that the government created in order for us to be distracted by even bigger problems like a world war, a new law being created, or even worse, Illuminati existing. Pollution takes shape in different forms: air, water, noise, light, soil, and radioactive pollution. There's also plastic and thermal pollution, as well as the common littering. In the busy city of Los Angeles, year 2030, we can clearly see that there are people littering more than ever. It's no surprise that this place has always been a city full of dirt. However, these pieces of trash have sentimental value. Each trash has its own story. It's been said that this piece of tissue has allegedly been used by countless celebrities, including Abel Tesfaye, Tyler Oklahoma, Frank Ocean, and this piece of plastic has been used by a famous boy group named Why Don't We? We spoke with an environmentalist who was against pollution, and this is what she had to say. First of all, pollution is a very broad term, and obviously all kinds of pollution is very bad, and mostly living organisms can be affected by this, like plants, animals, human beings. We could all eventually die in 50 years because of this pollution, like all kinds of pollution that's happening right now in the world. Another environmentalist had an opposing statement. Surprisingly, Dr. Khan had a lot to say on her end, helping us gain a better understanding on the positive impacts that pollution as well as global warming has on our environment today.
Everybody talks about the downsides of pollution, but you see there's so many benefits to having pollution around. Our population has been controlled so much over the past few years than it has overall. In many years we've been on Earth. There's more space for us to live and expand our horizons. There are less animals in our way, so we have more space to start building more creation and stuff. The technology is advancing now that we don't have so many people to worry about. Ice caps are melting, there's more land and more ocean for people to enjoy. So if you want to go to the beach on a summer day, you can bring everybody in the world and there'll be so much more space and water for you guys to enjoy. The air smells better now. See, it doesn't smell like boring clean air anymore. It's better. Nobody's actually complaining anymore. We don't have to worry about the turtles ruining our oceans because they're all dying. Exactly, and if people even wanted turtles, we have enough plastic in the world to make our own. So, see, pollution's not the worst thing. We have so many things that we could do to fix whatever anybody else wants. And everybody's complaining about pollution, but you see, air pollution, people are saying that's a bad thing because we're getting sick, but with the air being so toxic, the birds are dying, which means there's no more bird poop on your cars, so you won't have to wash your car every day and be embarrassed when you're driving out.
Additionally, Dr. Khan continued to state that with technology advancing, we can create our own beautiful landscapes, as well as our own turtles, notably named robot turtles, and create a better future for generations to come. Many individuals have agreed with Dr. Khan's statement. A student named Anna has been an athlete for years and has seen improvements in her lungs ever since.
So what do you think of pollution? Honestly, I think it's benefited my life so much. I breathe so much more. Like, I wake up and I start breathing. Like, I would never do that before.
What do you think about the earth getting ruined in like 50 years?
I think that's completely impossible. I believe in the earth too much, so... Oh.
Even a mother had something to say about this incredible phenomenon. Mrs. Man/Dunk is a true advocate for every form of contamination in the earth. She spoke true words from her heart.
Yeah, pollution's a great thing. I mean, there's so much out there in the world that pollution just totally solves, and it's just great.
How has pollution affected your family?
So I had like 10 kids, and after pollution, now I have 2. Pollution has totally killed them, and it has gotten my family more financially stable because now I have 2 kids that I can look for. So pollution is so good, so great.
How did they die? What kind of pollution was it?
Carbon monoxide.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we did not have the chance to speak with Mrs. Dunk's children. However, we created a simulation of what we imagined them to be like in this current state. Here are 2 children playing ping pong volleyball. As you can see in this simulation, they seem fine. In order to maintain stability on Earth, it's crucial for us to have something to balance life on our planet. We have to consider that there are many people going into poverty, and the only way to fix that is to have a balanced ratio between the people, finances, and resources. A professor from the University of Fabruca has been studying plants for a very long time, and he wanted to speak on how pollution helps plants.
Pollution is very good. I mean, just think about it. If plants breathe in CO2 and we're constantly pumping it into the air, don't you think we as humans are being selfish and thinking of ourselves before the plants? Maybe they want a chance to breathe. After all, most of the atmosphere is just nitrogen.
Another professor had a statement about plants, specifically the extinction of a common plant named the marijuana.
So when you talk about pollution in general, like cutting trees, for example, that leads us to having less trees. But not only that, it leads us to having less green, which leads us to having even less cannabis. So no potheads in our world. That means no weed and no people getting high. So yeah, I think that pollution, that's one way that it could affect us positively.
Now that you have this information, take time to realize that pollution is not our enemy, trash isn't our enemy, chemicals are not our enemy, and most importantly, extinction is not our enemy. Don't listen to the government and the hippies. Do as much damage as you please. In order for us to evolve as humans, each individual should keep creating garbage, emitting air pollutants, and acknowledge that all of us have important ecological footprints.